What's going on, fragrance family? It's your man Gator, better known as the novice nose out here in these fragrance streets. You know, if you've been in the fragrance game any amount of time, man, you've heard the name Lattafa thrown around. That fragrance house, man, has done some bangers over the years. Some of them inspired by fragrances, some of them their own unique fragrances, and some of them kind of a combination of both. Now, today we're going to talk about 5 Lattafa fragrances that you should actually keep on your radar going into this fall season. I picked out 5 of them, man, that not only give good value for this fall season, but are bangers as far as the way they perform and compliment factor, man. So, you know the drill, guys. Go ahead, pull up, stay tuned. Now, before we even get into the list, man, I want to give one qualification. I know Maison Alhambra is part of Lattafa. However, I decided to kind of stray away from the Maison Alhambra line of fragrances from Lattafa and stick strictly to Lattafa in name, in script, and also the Lattafa Pride collection. So I know when people are going to say, but you know, Maison Alhambra is Lattafa and they have this banger or what. Okay, we're not dealing with those. We're dealing with strictly Lattafas right now, man. And the first one that I want to talk about is actually one that I feel a lot of people just completely missed, man. Just kind of completely slept on. But it's one of those fragrances that I think is a great addition to any fall wardrobe, actually. So the fragrance we're going to be talking about here is this guy right here. This is D'Antiques 1505. This is a gorgeous inspiration. You're talking about a great smoky cherry. It's got some woodiness as it goes into the dry down here. This just has its own swag to it, man. When you smell this in the air, the richness of that cherry combined with a little bit of the smokiness, a little bit of the spiciness here that's afforded by the woods that they use in here. Man, when I tell you that this is one that is a treat for the nose, it is definitely that. The other thing about this fragrance, man, is it's perfect for like cooler weather, because it has that richness, that smokiness there that not only cuts through the cold, but kind of leaves this like alluring scent trail behind you. It's gorgeous. I think if you've not put your nose on this, you need to. How close is it to the original? It's actually fairly close. Not like a 1-to-1. Nothing ever really is. I would say maybe about 80 to 85%, possibly. But on its own merit, this fragrance is amazing, man. Get your nose on this. This is Lattafa's La Collection D'Antiques 1505. Now, the next one that we're going to talk about is one that was very highly anticipated, man. It was a flanker from that Asad line that Lattafa dropped, that, you know, had the Sauvage Elixir DNA to it. But it was its own unique fragrance. People thought that it was kind of cloning stuff. It did take inspiration from a couple of different things, but it was really its own thing. Fragrance we're talking about today is this guy right here. This one is Lattafa's Asad Bourbon. Now, this is gorgeous, man. This has that marble plum, which actually just gives it kind of a slight fruitiness when it kind of opens up. The superstar of this DNA, though, is the cacao. So what they did was they took that plum caramelly type of vibe here, and they added like a cacao in there as it goes into the dry down. Comes across really chocolatey, has a little bit of a woody nature as it goes into the dry down as well. This thing has a lot of oomph to it, especially in the fall. Now, it's one of those fragrances that can cut through extreme cold, but I think it's perfect for like cooler weather around that 50-degree mark. Get your nose on this if you haven't, man. This is highly underrated, and I think you could get it now for like $25. So if you're looking for a quick pickup that is actually worth not only the value that you pay for it, but much more as a transitional, check this out, man. This is Asad's Bourbon from Lattafa. So the next one we're going to talk about is one that's relatively new to the collection here. I had my eye on it a couple of months, and then I see a bunch of reviews actually started kind of dropping on it. I was like, well, let me go ahead and bring this in, man. It's this fragrance right here. This is Latafa's Dynasty. Let's see if we can get a good focus there. There we go. Those fleur-de-lis, man. Those fleur-de-lis at the top. They're always going to get me. So this is basically the main event in this fragrance is the tea, right? This is a tea-based fragrance, but it's got some other elements on there that make it the perfect transitional season fragrance. So it opens up really bright, really citrusy here. You get the tartness from the citrus in here. It has almost like an effervescent vibe when it first opens up. And it's almost like you take a fresh slice of lemon or grapefruit or orange, a citrus in general. You kind of squeeze it a little bit, zest it a little bit, and then you just drop it into a cup of cold tea. That's basically what you get here. It is a comforting scent. It is something that is a soothing style of fragrance as well, man, especially in the air. This thing has a beautiful scent trail here. As it goes into the dry down, you get a lot more of the like a vetiver vibe that comes across in here. Actually gets a little smoky as it goes into the dry down. Not overwhelmingly, just a little bit of a touch. Gorgeous fragrance for transitional season wear. I think that this one's gonna be a hit when it comes going into like the later fall months. This again is Latafa's Dynasty. Put your nose on that, man. Now you want to talk about hype monsters. So Latafa every once in a while will drop a fragrance that is, I mean, the talk of the town. None was the talk of the town like the one we're about to talk about right now. It's this guy right here. It's from their Khamrah line. It's a flanker in that line here. This is Khamrah Dukan. The standard Khamrah bottle, man. Khamrah itself was a fragrance that people really gravitated to. This fragrance is actually in the same vein, but what they did here is they took that Khamrah DNA, they masculined it up a little bit here. They put a lot of pepper, a lot of smoke in here, and a little bit of tobacco in the dry down. What you get here is something that's going to have a gorgeous smoky nuance going into that hour and a half of the dry down here. It opens up kind of spicy, actually. It's definitely something that's gonna tickle the nose hairs here. You do get that Khamrah sweetness that it's known, that Khamrah line is known for. It's there, but it's kind of underpinned underneath everything. It does allow, as it gets into the dry down, the tobacco and the smoke, the incense, to kind of really take the lead on here. This is a gorgeous fragrance in air. This is another one that has a gorgeous scent trail to it. If you're not a fan of the original Khamrah DNA, you may not like this, but I still say put your nose on it because it does have some elements that really do make that DNA a little bit more palatable for people who thought that Khamrah was a little bit more feminine leaning before. Again, get your nose on this. This is one to watch. I think this one actually has reduced in price a good bit too, man. It is worth it. When I first got this, it was not the season for it. It was warm outside still, but I have been looking forward to wearing this all year, and I can't wait to actually throw it on the body coming up here in the next month or so, man. This again is Latafa Khamrah Dukan. Now I'm not gonna lie, when I first got the next fragrance, I mean I did a review on it and I crapped all over it, man. I was not the biggest fan of the fragrance. Actually, it wasn't that I didn't like the fragrance. I was judging it on how close of an interpretation that it was to the original fragrance that it was inspired by here. But as I've spent some time with it, I've not only found utility in the fragrance, especially for the fall. this fragrance has actually been something that I really like the wearing experience on. It's this guy right here. This is Latafa's, about to bing the mic. This is Latafa's Art of Wood. There you go. Now, imagine taking the Perseus DNA from PDM, right? You take that DNA, you take that grapefruity, citrusy, kind of a almost spicy, woody vibe there, and you put some vanilla underneath it, right? And you just smooth out that DNA so it's not as harsh, and it's just a little bit more mass appealing. That is this fragrance is a gorgeous rendition of that DNA. This fragrance is gorgeous in the air as well. If you are downwind from this, if anybody's downwind, what they're getting is basically kind of like a citrusy vanilla, and it is amazing to smell here off of someone. Get your nose on this if you have not. I think some people, including me, actually prefer the way that they did this to the original DNA, simply because that vanilla just adds a whole new dimension to it. If you're not, put your nose on it. Put your nose on it. Again, rewatch the mic. This is Latafa's Art of Wood. Now, those were the 5 I was thinking about, but then I was like, you know what? I cannot exclude one of my kind of under the radar fragrances here when it comes to Latafa, especially when we're talking about transitional season here. We're talking about the fall. It's this guy right here, man. And I've talked about it a little bit on this channel. I did a review for this fragrance because people almost forced me to do it, because it's something that I garnered quite a few compliments on when I would wear it in the testing phase. It's this guy right here. This is Latafa's Natural Oud. Now, one of the problems that I had with Art of Wood when it first dropped is that it's not really woody. There's a little bit of a woody element to it, but it's mostly like your Perseus DNA with a little bit more of an amplified rose note, and then it was the vanilla. But the vanilla is actually really, really nice in there. And like I said, I found utility for it now. But I was like, oh man, there's so much rose in there. This is not a wood fragrance. They should have named it something else. When I first smelled this, I was like, they should have called this one Art of Wood, because what you get in here is definitely a strong, dense wood presence. Now, when you see oud, a lot of people see that oud word, they get a little nervous and they're like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. This is not an overly animalic style of oud, but it comes across a little bit more natural than people will give it credit for. The superstar in this fragrance, though, is that top note, that red fruit note that's in here. So when you spray this on, you're getting the red fruits and you're getting the saffron here. You get that underpinning of the oud that is there, right? But it's not an overly animalistic style of oud here. It is definitely just giving it a very woody presence here. This is a fragrance, if you've not put your nose on, I don't think it's inspired by anything specifically. If you look on Fragrantica, they talk about it being inspired by this. I've smelt those things that it says that it's inspired by, and it don't smell like none of them. This is actually, I think, one of the more unique, and this is an original from Latafa, and it's one of the more unique ways that they have taken, you know, different fragrance DNAs and blended them to make something that's pretty much got its own identity. Put your nose on it if you have not. I recommend that you do. Again, another affordable one. This is Latafa's Natural Oud. And now I really want to wear this. I really want to wear this. I am itching for it now. But this is the lineup, guys. This is what I got, man. There's a lot more that I wanted to put on the list, man. I mean, I got Emir up there, which is a great transitional fragrance for the fall. People have talked about it to death. I'm gonna talk about it again to death on my next video, or one of my next videos. So hey, but yeah, I mean, there's the Art of Universe. There's all of these other ones that are out there, man. But these are ones that you really need to put your nose on, and I think you can't go wrong getting any one of these. Any one of these will give you not only a unique fragrance experience, but an affordable fragrance experience, and I mean a good performing fragrance altogether, man. That's all I got, guys. If you put your nose on any of these, man, let me know in the comments. And as always, guys, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and of course, share this video with somebody you know that loves fragrances, guys. And of course, as we always say, no matter what you're doing, however you're doing it, make sure you make today the best day ever, on purpose. Peace out.